this video is going to talk about basically when you're buying and selling and the mortgage options that you have. The last one that we're going to dive into here was the downsizing. And again, just
Mhm.
to go a little bit with the market and what's happening right now is people are scared to downsize because again, they're selling at a loss and then they're buying at a loss. But the math that we did earlier, that would show you that they're not winning here. But there are still ways for sellers that are downsizing to be creative, right? Most that are downsizing get into a condo. Right now, the condo market is not doing well at all. So there are a lot of opportunities there that you can take advantage of. There's builder sales right now currently. There's assignment sales where, again, there are deals to be had for those downsizers. So even though, yes, you're not selling at the most opportune time or what the market was 3 years ago, which is not coming back anytime soon, but people seem to think it might. We have to move. We have to get into something. So be creative about where you're going. Again, buying something that you can then renovate yourself instead of buying something that's already done. One, you get to choose how your place is going to look instead of buying something that somebody else did. But there's always a profit in there. That's why they do these things, flippers and stuff like that. So you can make that profit part of your equity when you're downsizing. So again, trying to minimize that number of what you net. So again, downsizing right now, if something you need to do, don't delay it because you're scared of what's going on. There are opportunities right now. You just have to think outside the box. So, Melissa, from the mortgage side of things, when we're looking at downsizing, how does it work for the seller?
Absolutely. So with downsizing itself, I do feel like there's several different scenarios, but we'll kind of hone in a little bit here. And with any of the scenarios, what I will emphasize, it's very much case by case. So definitely, very important to keep that in mind. So with downsizing, very common with our retirees, our senior clients, and ultimately, usually with downsizing, the client's ultimate goal is to wind up mortgage free. So that let's say they're selling their property that probably has little or no mortgage, and then they want to use those proceeds to purchase their new property outright. So let's say they close on the sale first, and then they close on the purchase next. There's really no financing that needs to be factored in or worried about. But more often than not, interestingly, with downsizing scenarios, clients usually like to close on the purchase first and then sell. And what this means is that they technically have to qualify for two properties at the same time. So a lot more moving pieces in this type of a scenario. And again, different options we can offer our clients. So it might look like a home equity line of credit that they're taking out, which is fully open and then gets paid off with the sale. In some scenarios, we're able to offer reverse mortgages for our senior clients. So and then when needed, there is private financing. So this one's, again, not as black and white, different options to navigate depending on the client scenario.
Uh, yes, I love it. And the reason why downsizers, especially, are doing it this way is one, if you sell before you buy something, mathematically, you have nowhere to live for a little bit. And no senior or person uh, really enjoys
Yeah.
not having a home or staying in a hotel or an Airbnb. I have had people go on a cruise, which I think is a great idea if you need to get out of here and you're waiting for some place to move into because of that situation. Again, if you had that ability. But we just did it last week. We had a property close where they did the same thing. It
Yeah.
closed the week before their purchase, before their sale, and that allows them one to move with ease. They don't have to do everything on that one day or that same day. And the more I'm not that old, but I'm getting older, and the people that are of that generation, they don't like anything going wrong or sideways. So the more time they give themselves for something to happen the way they would like it, it allows them to map out their move and make sure everything is planned properly. But that's why the one happens before the other for sure. They're going to
Absolutely.
need from. So here's a quick question, just
Okay.
again general. Every situation is specific to their own for many reasons, for sure.
Mhm.
But generally speaking, a lender would probably have no issues with somebody that wasn't working or anything like that, as long as there was enough equity. By how much more would you say is that not? Let's say they're selling a $2 million home and they're buying $1 million condo, and they
Uh-huh.
had a very small mortgage of 300,000 on that home, so they should walk away in theory with somewhere around 600, $700,000 after everything. Is there still going to be the scrutiny to go through things, or are they just basically saying, "Hey, we have a firm deal. We know what you're getting here. We're not really worried. The money's going to come to us in a bit. You just got to pay us what we asked you."
You would think, right? So I'm actually really glad that you asked this because a lot of people, especially our senior clients, have this mentality because qualifying back in the day used to be more based on like equity based, or just, how many assets you had. They didn't care as much as income to expense ratios. So technically, what a lot of people don't realize is by definition, bridge financing is only offered to a client if they are continuing with a mortgage product or like a real estate financing product. So, unless the client intends to have, let's say, a mortgage after they buy or even a home equity line of credit that's completely open after they buy, we can't offer traditional bridge financing.
Mm.
So, I don't know if I've lost you, if I'm
No,
confusing you there.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm totally
Yeah.
with you there, and I understand what you're saying. And I
Right.
guess then in that instance, they'd have to have enough to do a HELOC. Um,
For these kinds of scenarios, there's again so many different situations that you might run into, right? So what we might do, what is the most common is maybe set up a client with a home equity line of credit on their purchase. And then, they might have funds to bridge the gap for what's considered the down payment. They might need to take a reverse mortgage to bridge that gap for the down payment, but technically there needs to be the down payment and then the lending. Am I getting too confusing there? I'm like just kind
no,
of
no, no,
sidebarring.
no,
Am I
no.
confusing you or am I answering your question
You,
there?
no, I'm following along. You
You're
answered my
following.
question, and
Okay.
again, at the end of the day, everything
Yeah.
breaks down to having a
Yeah.
specific situation and a specific answer for a specific client with a specific purchase. Everything like that matters. So I understand
Absolutely.
exactly what you're saying, and maybe I asked something that was hard to answer in a general sense,
It is.
uh,
Yeah.
but this is something that I think people should understand what they're doing and how they need to do it rather than just assuming, right? Again, uh, I was the same way thinking that, and I'm not even there yet. I would have thought for sure that the equity is there. It's going to make a lot of sense. But again, risk mitigation, the
Yeah.
lenders want to make sure that they are not at any large risk amount, right? So
Yeah.
I completely understand. And this is why, again, even someone that does this every day, talks to people all the time about buying, selling, investing properties, this is why we have professionals. Speak to the experts, uh, not your sister. I joke about that because, long story short, I had a client, a new landlord, call me and say they took advice from their sister. And when I asked, "Oh, their sister's a landlord," she said no. And again, family, friends, everybody that's in our lives are trying to give us proper advice, something that is going to help us. But at the end of the day, we know what we know and we don't know what we don't know. And this is why it's best to reach out to professionals. That's why I was saying at the beginning, Melissa will talk to people. Her office is directly across the hallway from mine, at our Remax Hallmark office here. She's our in-house mortgage specialist. So I see her almost every day, if not every day, multiple times a day. Probably depends if I'm here that day. But anyways, I know how she works with clients. She's helped some of ours out as well, and it's getting in front of things and
Right.
understanding how you have to move forward so you have a plan of action, not assuming your plan is going to work, then getting involved with the professional and saying, "So this is what I'm doing," and they have to say, "Well, that's not going to work." Um, anyways, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to dive into any more about because I say it all the time, but use your professionals, get advice from experts, not online or chat GPT. Melissa, thanks so much for sharing with us today. I appreciate you and your expertise. Do you have anything that you want to leave with today to say one last time or farewell note?
I just want to say thank you for having me again, Kevin. I really enjoyed our segment today. And again, just to feed off of what you were saying, trust the experts, lean on the experts. And I'm a firm believer that knowledge is power. So the more information and knowledge you have in advance, the more able you are to make informed decisions.
I love it. As
Yeah.
I said earlier, you only know what you know and you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Like always, we try to share something that you need to know. Thanks so much for listening to our little episode here about mortgages. Again, Melissa, thanks so much
Thank you.
for sharing everything. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this week. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're finding it informative and useful, make sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend so that we can keep getting the information out there to Ontario landlords. And keep on joining us. We'll see you next time.